What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It is I, the Media Goose, your friend Ryan. And the goose is loose, baby! Ha! I am here today to give you my WrestleMania 42 card predictions. That's right, I am going to guess every match of the weekend in order, and I'm going to give you my predictions for the winner. I will also do a predictions video the week of Mania when these matches are more solidified, because one thing that I noticed just making this list, there's still a lot left up in the air. I think there are both mid-card men's titles could be multi-men matches, but I don't think they will be. There's still a lot of things to be sorted out, so if I miss a feud that's building, it's gonna happen, you know? So cut me some slack. Let me know in the comments who I missed and what you would like them to be a part of if they're not on the card for me. And every year, the week before and the week after WrestleMania, those weekly Raw and SmackDowns usually have big matches on them. So I don't have the Raw tag titles being defended. The Usos and the Vision are feuding. They have a tag title match next week. I think it's more likely they're on the shows before or after the weekend. So, we are starting with night one of WrestleMania, which I think will open with an Intercontinental Championship ladder match. The people that I have in this one are going to be Penta defending against Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Kofi Kingston, and the Americanos. I don't think they're going to have a one-on-one match, the Americanos, that is, at WrestleMania. Kaiser mentioned on Raw that him and Gable are going to fight again, so I take it that that's going to happen before Mania. And I also think their last confrontation or match will be in AAA, most likely. So I have them involved in the Intercontinental title match here, and I have a new Intercontinental Champion. That boy Bouncy! Javon is bouncing out of night one as your new Intercontinental Champion. I love Penta. He'll have more reigns, but they like making moments, and what bigger moment than starting WrestleMania weekend with Javon Evans winning his first championship in WWE. So, the second match, I have the MFT and the Wyatts squaring off. I think it'll be a 10-man tag. Everybody will be involved. I assume that Nikki will also be involved. So, with that, the SmackDown tag titles are elsewhere occupied. But with this match, I think the Wyatts will win. I think that the MFT group is clearly breaking up pretty soon, I think. And I think that starts with the Wyatts winning here. It's possible that before this match, the family makes it clear to Solo, like, hey, if we don't win, we're out. So I would have the Wyatts win that match. Love the Wyatts. Third match of night one. Speaking of the SmackDown tag team titles, I have them being defended by R-Truth and Damian Priest here, going up against The Miz and Kit Wilson, as well as Jelly Roll and Danhausen. So I've seen a ton of reports out there that it's going to be Jelly Roll and Royce Keys. Until he's on TV, I'm not predicting him to be on the Mania card. I think that Danhausen has been mentioning Jelly Roll every week. He's been trying to get with Miz and Kit. So I think it would make sense for him to go to Danhausen like, hey, do you need... Or for him to go to Jelly Roll like, hey, you want some help with those two guys? They've been giving me trouble too. And I think Danhausen and R-Truth, come on, and The Miz, this is such a confluence of comedic wrestlers. So I think a triple threat tag title match, and the winners, and still tag team champions, Damian Priest and R-Truth. there's a lot of different ways you could go with the SmackDown tag title scene. There's a lot of good tag teams on that roster. I think it's more likely they have some kind of number one contender match on the Go Home SmackDown between like Axiom, Motor City Machine Guns, just all of those really good tag teams. So then the fourth match of the night. This one is a little weird because there's a lot of people that could be involved in a multi-person US title match, but I don't have that happening. I have a triple threat match here between Sami Zayn, Trick Williams, and Aleister Black. I have those three because I think Sami and Trick is obvious that they've been building to that at Mania for a little while. And Aleister, he's pinned Sami, he's pinned Randy a few weeks back, and he's been messing with Sami. So I think he'll be involved in, he'll manipulate Sami throughout the match, leading to, at the end of the match, Sami Zayn turning heel and winning. That's right, I have Sami Zayn pinning Trick Williams because I think Sami will leave a heel, Trick will leave a good guy, give Trick some sympathy coming out of Mania, and give Sami something to talk about. Like, hey, I just put that guy down. I deserve a title match. So I think Sami, Trick, and Aleister go, and Sami and Trick complete their double turn, and Sami's a heel, Trick's a face. I wouldn't be shocked if Aleister and Sami maybe have some kind of alliance coming out of this. Then, I have... So these final... That was the fourth match. So then, obviously, the main event of night one is Cody and Randy. I have the next match being... Damn, this is hard. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker are the fifth match on night one. I think there's so many main event level matches happening on this weekend that not everybody's going to be like the main event or semi-main event. So halfway through night one, we've got Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, and I think you got to give Braun the win. I think Seth recently did an interview talking about how he wants to leave the company better than he found it, and a great way to do that is helping young talent get over. So I think Seth Rollins putting over Braun Breaker would be best. That was the fifth match. So now we are at the sixth match. And I have a Hell in a Cell match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. I almost had them on night two, but I ended up deciding that it was more likely Oba and Brock were going to be on night two than Drew and Jacob. For a while, I thought there might be a multi-man with these guys and Randy and Cody, but I'm glad they've gone this way. Drew and Jacob, I think, will have an excellent Hell in a Cell match. Maybe not Hell in a Cell, but that's what I'm predicting, because I like the fact that Hell in a Cell doesn't happen at certain pay-per-views. It can happen when a story dictates it. And with Drew and Jacob fighting outside of the arena last time, I think they'll have an incentive to add the cell so that the destruction is contained to the ring. And in that match, I have Jacob going over for sure. Drew is apparently taking time off to film a Highlander remake. So I've got Jacob Fatu beating Drew in a Hell in a Cell match. The semi-main event of night one, the Women's WWE Championship match, I've got Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. I ended up having them on night one just because I think it's the least exciting of the four big title matches so far. Jade having that faction behind her is good, stacks the deck up against Rhea, and based on that, and based on who needs this more, I have Jade Cargill retaining in what should be and needs to be her best match to date. If you can't go out there and work with Rhea, you shouldn't be working with anybody, because Rhea's a main event talent, and Rhea's an excellent wrestler. So this has got to be a good match between these two. I hope it is, and I have Jade retaining due to the faction being involved now. And obviously, the main event of night one of WrestleMania, is Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. This is a hard one. This is a hard one. I think the most obvious thing is Randy winning his 15th. Which is why I'm kind of thinking it won't happen. I don't think they'll go as far as having Cody turn heel. I just don't see that happening yet. I've got Randy Orton winning his 15th world title, making him the second best of all time in terms of world title wins, because he'll have, right now he's tied with Triple H, and or third, because he would have been tied with, he'd be third, because Cena, and then Flair, and then Orton. Night 2 of WrestleMania. I have that opening with a women's tag team title elimination match. I don't think they would do multiple ladder matches or a ladder match and a TLC match, so I made this an elimination tag match. And the teams that I have involved are the Bellas, the Indestructible Forces, Alexa and Charlotte, and Bayley and Lyra. Those are the teams most involved. I think that Julia and Kiana were possible, but I think Julia is likely doing something else I'll talk about. So I've got those 4 tag teams, and I am going to have Alexa and Charlotte win. I think starting the night hot is always it's still light out and everything, so good energy. Alexa and Charlotte are arguably the most over tag team on the roster, so I think you go there with them. Then, the second match. The U.S. title could have been in a multi-man match, but I don't have it going that way. I have Carmelo Hayes defending the United States Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match against Ilya Dragunov. These two are like wrestling soulmates. I could watch them wrestle every single week, and I don't know that I'd get sick of it. They had an amazing match on SmackDown this past week, and I would have Ilya Dragunov turn heel to beat Carmelo Hayes. Melo's been trying to get the dog out of Ilya, and he's not going to like what happens, because the dog is out, and Ilya ain't leaving Mania without a title. So I have Ilya winning the U.S. title in what could be match of the weekend. So, this is the hardest spot on the card. Match 3, night 2. I have 2 options here. 1, a Gunther match. Gunther's not been on TV since the Dragon stuff. There's been a lot going around about he was supposed to work with Rey Mysterio at Mania. Rey is hurt. Apparently he hurt his ribs. I saw a report that I don't give any credence to, but I'm going to talk about the possibility. I saw something that Rey is milking this injury because he does not want to be retired at Mania by Gunther, because in his heart of hearts, he knows Dominic should retire him. And if that's what's happening here, I agree with Rey. He should, if it was Gunther versus Rey without a career on the line, I'm fine with it. I'm not having Gunther retire Rey Mysterio, though. That honor belongs to one person. But if there's nothing for Gunther, maybe Gunther LA Knight. If there's no Gunther, I have Tiffany and Julia happening here. But I think that's more likely to be on the Go Home SmackDown or the SmackDown after Mania. Tiffany's going to win the title from Julia. I think they'll have a good match, but I don't know. It would be cool if Chelsea was ready. I would get Chelsea in there if she's ready, but since she's rolling around on the wheelchair, I'm not going to predict that she'll be ready. So, the 4th match of night 2 of WrestleMania will be Dominic Mysterio with J.D. McDonough in his corner, facing off against the Demon, Finn Balor. That's right, I've got the Demon coming back because he's outnumbered. It's JD and it's Dom. So I think the equalizer is the Demon. And I have the Demon, Finn Balor, beating Dom Mysterio. Then, the 5th match of the night, I have AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. And I think this is going to be a Las Vegas street fight. Or you know what? No, I take that back. I think the MFT Wyatts is probably going to be a street fight. I didn't say that, but that's a street fight. I'm going to do what I want this to be. I would love to see this as a submission match. I think it should be AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch in a submission match for the Intercontinental Championship. And I have AJ Lee retaining. I think Becky has done wonders for the Intercontinental Championship. Everything she said on Raw about establishing that title, making it prestigious, is all correct. And because she did that, I think she'll be going after a world champion after WrestleMania. Now, the sixth match of the night. I've got Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. This was the match that I had as the semi-main of night one, but I just think it's more likely that Brock is on night two at this point. Oba as well. I think they want those entrances happening at night when the stadium will have that aura and ambiance. So Oba and Brock, Obafemi's got to win. Obafemi should win. I think it should model the Brock Lesnar Goldberg match from WrestleMania 33, where it was like 5 to 8 minutes long and it was a car crash the entire way. Stuff never slowed down. The only thing I can say is that under no circumstance should Brock Lesnar pin Oba. If Brock isn't getting pinned, then it should be a count out or something. Obafemi cannot be pinned. So I have Obafemi beating Brock Lesnar. And in the semi-main event of WrestleMania, Night 2, I have Liv Morgan taking on Stephanie Vaquer. In my Raw review, I forgot to mention that excellent segment where Stephanie attacked Liv during Dominic's entrance. Liv is incredible, man. The screaming at the top of her lungs while they're brawling. I saw this video of her putting in extra time at, like, the Heart Dungeon, I think. Liv Morgan is a locker room leader. Liv Morgan is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And she has worked her ass to say that. And Stephanie Vaquer, I think, has also looked really great in this feud. I wish they had her defending more often, but this is a hard one. Both are so deserving. I had Randy win the title, and I had Jade retain. I am going to go with Stephanie Vaquer to retain the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Liv Morgan's incredible. Everything I just said still is true, despite me picking Stephanie. I just feel like Stephanie and Becky could be a great direction for the women's title on Raw after Mania. And also with AJ Lee as Intercontinental Champion coming out of Mania, I could see AJ Lee and Liv Morgan for the IC. So I think Stephanie retains to feud with Becky. And the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania, the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk, taking on the Tribal Chief. Acknowledge him. The hand's out of camera, but I'm acknowledging him. Roman Reigns. I have loved what they've been doing with this feud. The second promo they did where Roman called Punk old, I know I complained about it, but the way they've edited the promo, it looks really good. And hearing other people's opinions about why that's disrespectful wrestler to wrestler, I'm willing to have a negative reaction and then change the way I think. I think it was a good story beat, the old thing. I think that Roman's probably going to make fun of Larry at some point. That might be the go-home show where he finally mentions CM Punk's dead dog. It would feel wrong if Punk kept that off the table. Like, CM Punk, the guy who poured Paul Bearer's ashes out. Like, come on, let Roman make fun of your dog. Now, how does this go? The Usos are involved. All of the Samoans have been called out. I think that I predict that Roman Reigns will lose this match. CM Punk will retain the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm very tempted to predict that The Rock will come out. I don't like The Rock personally. I think every time he comes back, it's like an ego trip. And that "Give Me Your Soul" Cody promo was terrible. But that truck with The Rock's face on it being behind the Usos, something's happening here. But I think it's going to be the Samoans revolting against Roman. So I have CM Punk retaining. And I kind of feel like The Rock might cost him the title. Because I think Roman goes away after Mania. And I think it's more likely they'd be setting up Roman Reigns versus The Rock than Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. I should say The Rock versus CM Punk. I don't think the Bloodline comes out reunited. I think that's the red herring. I think that there are more fractures in this group, the Bloodline coming out of Mania. I think that the Usos, The Rock, Jacob, after his match with Drew on night 1, maybe he comes out. Maybe Solo comes out and attacks Roman. Maybe Tama Tonga. I don't know. I think something is going down here, but it doesn't end with Roman Reigns as champion. I think Roman Reigns will finally be held accountable for the way he tortured and manipulated his family. So, CM Punk leaves as World Heavyweight Champion. So, my champions coming out of Mania. We've got Punk, we've got Randy. For the mid-card titles, I've got Ilya as a heel, and I have Javon Evans as the IC champion. Alexa and Charlotte are your new tag champs, and R-Truth and Damian Priest retain their tag titles, possibly to feud with... I could see Miz and Danhausen still ending up together, and then it's Miz and Danhausen versus Truth and Priest after Mania. But tell me what you think, guys. I'll run through the card quickly one more time. IC ladder match. Wyatt's and the MFTs. SmackDown tag title match. Alistair, Trick, and Sammy. Then we've got Seth and Braun Breaker. Then we've got Drew and Jacob in a Hell in a Cell. Then Jade and Rhea. And finally, Cody and Randy. Night 2, Women's Tag Team Elimination title match. Mello and Ilya, 2 out of 3 falls. Gunther, maybe. I wouldn't be shocked if during the Hall of Fame ceremony, he attacks AJ Styles and they set up a match for night 2. Then, if nothing happens with Gunther, that would be Tiffany and Julia. Then I've got Dom and Finn Balor as the Demon. Then AJ and Becky. Then Oba and Brock. The semi-main event of night 2 is Liv and Stephanie. And finally, Punk and Roman, where Punk wins. So, guys, tell me where you disagree. What matches do you want to see? Tell me the matches you predict and how they differ from my card. Thank you guys for watching. The Goose is out.